First of all, it's extremely important that the questionnaire cover all questions that are necessary. They do not leave out important issues, that they do not contain questions that are superfluous, that are not needed. I mean, a visitor study is not so much a big problem, but if you do a non-visitor study, for instance, in collaboration with a professional market research institute, I do this very often. All of my non-visitor studies are conducted together. Then, with a professional institute, then every question costs a lot of money. Non-visitor study is about, let's say, when you just have conducted a study for 6 museums, a non-visitor study, it was about 50,000 euro. 50,000 euros, so you can imagine every question costs a lot of money, so it's extremely important not to pose questions that are not necessary. You have to select the questions very carefully in a non-visitor study. When you do a visitor study in your venue, the problem is not so big. So the questions I have grouped into 5 packages, and each of this package addresses a certain subject. One is a basic package that is about audience structure and is the context of the visit in the venue. This is let's say, a so-called must-have in every questionnaire. You must have this package 1. Then another second package is about visiting behavior, what is used, interests, and decision making. Third is about more into psychology. It's about expectations, motives, and satisfaction of the visit. Fourth goes more into marketing. It's about distribution, ticketing, and pricing. The last one is communication. So when you do a questionnaire, you usually have to select a certain package. You cannot cover all the package in one questionnaire. Usually you take package 1, which is always the basis, and then you say, I want to have also maybe 2 or package 3 or whatever, but otherwise you have an overloaded questionnaire and you get many refusals, and many questionnaires will not be filled out properly. So then let's start with the audience structure. This is always the fundamental basis for any description of the audience. These socio-demographic data are usually age and gender, education, also professional status, and sometimes also the household side. Additional questions may be concerning about nationality of the visitors, place of residence, where do they come from, are they tourists coming from outside, and eventually migration status. Migration is an important subject for cultural institutions, also because especially public-funded institutions where political stakeholders put very often emphasis on having a very diverse audience, so they ask also for the migration status. So, these questions you can, if you want to do your own question, you can just take over as it is here, exactly as it is, with the same wording. So one is, what is your gender? Male, female, where were you born? Age, where do you live? There are different possibilities to pose questions here. You can ask, for instance, give me your postal number. Or you can say, like here, how far is this place away from the venue? Or you can ask, how long do you travel to get here? So different possibilities, but the best one here is I live in the city of Berlin, for instance, or within 50 kilometers, 150 or whatever. The boundaries here, the lines you draw, depends on other cities that are around your own city. So it makes sense to see, are there big cities in the near where people may come from, so that you can also take this into your account. You can also work with postcodes, but to analyze postcodes, it's best to have a certain software for this. Otherwise, you get hundreds of different postcodes, and it's difficult to draw the information from this. And here there's the level of education. And what is this for? So first, these demographic questions are very simple, but however they're absolutely indispensable. They're a very important basis of any analysis. Age, gender, occupation. Later we'll talk about also other possibilities to classify the audience. I will show you, tell you something about lifestyle segmentations and how to work with the lifestyle segmentation and what does this tell you. But however, these classic questions to the demographics are still very, very important. Professional status. It's also a very interesting question because what does this tell you? Of course, you get the status also by age, but not so exactly. So it makes a difference. For instance, if you say, well, we have people who are pensioners, have a lot of time, or are the people employed, or are they students or school childs, and so forth. And also when they're employed, or which level they're employed. This is what is interesting. What's not interesting is the branch. Where do you work? In which area? This is only about the professional status. So what you can here is find out whether vulnerable groups or disadvantaged groups come to your venue. You can easier assess needs and motives of the audience, and you can analyze the composition of the audience. And these variables are very important when you combine the answers of the other questions with this data. Then the demographics really begin to speak. When you see the difference, what do the younger people answer in comparison to the older groups. And if you want to capture the migration status, actually migration status is a very complex definition. It's really complex. But however, there's a very, very good and very easy question to capture this, and this is the question you find here. Could you please tell us if one or more of the following points is true for you or your parents? And then is you or at least one of your parents was born in a country other than Germany. You yourself, or at least one of your parents, is a naturalized German citizen, also, which means eingebürgert. Oder eingebürgert oder nicht. So, something which is asked in almost every questionnaire also is, who are you here with today? Who is accompanying you? I'm here alone, with my partner, with colleagues, relatives, friends, acquaintances, organized groups, or other. Of course, important, who has decided the visit? This is very often missed, this question. And to address the target group here, it's most important to just a decider, not so much the people who come, who accompany them. And in most cases, or in many cases at least, it's the women that decide. And the men or children come with them. Especially young men are always never the decider. Or with a lower education. Okay, so this is the basis you should have in every visitor study you do. Even if you do it several times a year, you need this. But then, now we are coming closer to the items that tell you more about the visitor. This is about visiting behavior. So what do they there, and how often do they come, and what do they see, and so forth. This is here in the middle. So this is a very, very first question. Are you visiting our festival for the first time or not? Very important. Of course, you need a large share of repeat visitors, which means you have an audience that is bonded to you, that sticks to you, that is loyal. And this always saves money. When people come on a regular basis, it saves marketing money because they come to you. You have to need not to convince them so much. So this is necessary for the first time visitors. On the other hand, of course, you need to have new visitors because of the regular visitors. Not all of them will come back next time or after the next time. So you always need a new flow of fresh visitors. So, and here, what is a good proportion? Usually it's this, that you have a basis of, let's say, 2/3 regular visitors and 1/3 new visitors. If you have too many new visitors, which means you have no loyal visitors, your audience is going away, and this is a very bad signal. Why is it not possible? Because when people once are there, very often they're inclined to come back and come back and come back. And when they do not do this, this is maybe a serious problem. So, best share is 2/3 repeat visitors and 1/3 new visitors, and make the new visitors to regular visitors next time. So, but to make the new visitors to regular visitors next time, you need to know what are their needs, what is different from them, and very often it's the case that they have different motivations and different needs than the core audience, and the satisfaction of them is less, and then they do not come back. So this is a very important question to make tables with all other questions you ask in the questionnaire: needs, motives, information channels. First-time visitors usually have other channels of information than the regular visitors, because regular visitors are in the venue. You have maybe your the email address. It's easy for you to catch them. Difficult for the first-time visitors because you do not know where they are. You just then need some other media or mass media to address them.